wines? Are there any favorite wines?
Huh?
No, Yum. Yeah.
Yum, can you? I'll get it.
No, I got you.
I need a coffee cup from down here. How do you like your coffee?
However you serve it.
Sweet.
Oh yes.
Sugar cream.
Honey?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Y'all thought I was coming up prepared. I had to bring my chinchilla. What? She had to.
That's so good in here.
What? It was on 65 the last time.
Oh, perfect.
I like going to sleep on the AC so I can like.
Oh look, I'm thinking to myself, no wonder Kalani said, "We take my car." Oh, yep. I can freeze it out on a cold day.
Your season must be winter.
My season is not winter. Actually, I enjoy this heat, but I like free on air.
Yes.
Well said.
Give me the central air.
That's when you would say so. Well said.
Gotta love it. So coffee is brewing. I don't have any cow milk. I have soy milk and oat milk.
That's fine. Oh, you have oat milk?
Mhm.
Oh, I'll take a small bowl of milk.
Okay.
That's better anyway.
No, I'm good. I'm
You sure?
We're not even supposed to
Cow
add dairy.
Right. So I have oat milk and soy milk isn't really great for you either, but it's hard to let go.
Give me a bottle of water. I'll take a bottle of water. Y'all know I can't drink. That's why I passed up the soccer. Thank you. How y'all weekend went?
Well,
Good Lord.
Makes me happy. He's 6, so he's at the pussy baby.
Oh, yeah.
He has pussy baby all the time. So sometimes I'm like, no, mommy just don't.
And you try to figure out where do they come up with those questions?
we all been at that age too. Yeah.
I don't remember none of that.
He
I
has
don't even think I got 4 kids, and I don't even think I remember them asking the questions that the kids up today ask.
They have access to different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like when on the drive to New Orleans, Marty slept and Alex, he's 6, he was looking at YouTube, and I was listening, you know, just driving and listening to what was being said, and I had to ask, like, what are you watching? Because that is like beyond what a 6-year-old should be talking about right now, or even listening to. Like, what? Okay, I get it now. But you know, that's how he's so smart. You know, that's how he just talks about all sorts of stuff. So some of it can just be weird.
The crazy thing, that's the new norm because
Oh, yes,
everything's
you
so
got a
accessible.
I believe
They're
in
on
YouTube
their
app.
hands.
So then he
Tablets, cell phones, computers, podcast. I mean, it's everywhere.
Even Julian, he knows how to find his favorite. He's 1.5, and he knows how, because it's touchscreen, the phones. He knows how to slide it. See, that's my little issue right now. But yeah, he knows how to slide it and hit the
Oh,
video.
yeah, she got spirits all over here, and they interact with you.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, that the spirits interact.
that'd be cool.
Does Don want some? To what?
Yeah, that trips me out. You know, he knows which videos. She had to get the YouTube Premium because he'd get frustrated by the commercials and throw it.
Everybody gets fat. That's relatable.
Don't feel bad.
Like I
Yeah.
said,
Because I was trying to understand, because my son, he's, it starts hitting the, I'm like, wait, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You broke one.
Yeah, that's why we had to go get a new phone from Metro PCS.
Okay.
I'll put the Give the case on.
He threw the phone.
Try to keep a bag in. Throw it away.
I'm sure.
Okay. I'm gonna sit here and get to know Absalom while y'all do that. Need anything in it?
Oh no, that's good. Just like that.
Okay. It's honey and oat milk. I didn't even put like whiskey in it like I normally do.
This time.
We so glad.
Well, mine has rum in it, so
Oh, okay. Oh,
I was serious.
once upon a time. Yours has rum in it?
Yes, I put Kahlua in my. This is actually a chai tea with Kahlua in it.
Okay. And you wearing red and you wearing purple and black today.
That's a big color.
I was actually gonna wear all white, and I changed my mind because I just changed my mind while I was putting it on.
Okay.
Back
You're
on.
like, nope.
The
Nope.
No,
spirits,
this
they
isn't
got
working.
you.
Let's throw this away.
I don't feel it.
So red and purple, or excuse me, I keep saying red, but black and purple are the colors of the nation of the dead
Mhm.
in voodoo, and they all drink rum.
No.
Coincidence? This is.
Come back around this way. Be careful.
Yeah, no, true.
Be careful.
Focus on the wires. There you go. Good job.
Okay, so before we start recording, let me ask you some questions so I can get to know you,
Okay.
so I can do your introduction properly.
All right.
Because I've heard great things about you from Finland. I love the store. I love everything about the venue. I've been there multiple times. I've actually seen you and just, I don't know, you were like, last time I seen you there, I think you were doing an interview outside.
Someone was interviewing me.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you were sitting outside in the back,
Oh, okay.
and I brought some people with me and showed them the store. And we spoke, but you were in the middle of an interview, and me being me, I just started talking. And you were like, I'm busy right now. So me being me, I just walked up to the back thing and just started talking. And he was like, wait, no, I'm busy right now. Okay. Bye.
Well, now you got me. I'm here.
Now I got you.
Yeah, I'm not busy. Well, I'm busy with you.
Okay, so Absalom's, what's the entire name of the store?
Absalom's Midtown Mojo Manufacturers.
Okay, are we doing the pre-sip now?
Yes.
Okay. Absalom's
Midtown Mojo Manufacturers.
Midtown Mojo Manufacturers. I memorized it when I talked to you, but I'm done. Midtown Mojo Manufacturers. Absalom's.
That's
What
how
street
it
is it
started. 4023 Polk Street.
On Polk Street. And I'll let you say the 4023 part. I'll just let you give the address.
Okay.
I remember Polk Street. Other outside of running the Midtown Mojo Manufacturer, who are you?
That's a long story. Let's see. What am I involved in?
Yeah.
So outside of Midtown Mojo, what am I involved in? I'm the spiritual leader for my tribe. And I sit on the Five Rivers Council for my tribe. And my main focus and responsibility is to find the remains of our ancestors that were dug up and scattered to the wind in the state of Texas. So, which like after this interview, I'm meeting at 6:30 with a gentleman in Wharton via Zoom. He was one of the lead diggers at the archaeological sites in Wharton, Texas since 1960 to 1980. So he knows where 32 of my ancestors are. Yeah. So
That's amazing.
that's one thing. And then on the side of that, I have for 13 years carried on a mission to house homeless veterans in Houston. So that's one of my other things
Wait,
that I
where?
do here in Houston.
No, I mean, like, is there a specific location?
Oh
Or
yes,
just help them find places?
we have a small center in downtown called the U.S. Vet Service Center, and then we have a housing program in Houston that house 200.
I'm pretty sure I've worked with that program because outside of being the Good Witch, I'm also a director of nursing, and we have a lot of vets, and we place them in places, and we work with a couple of organizations that do that.
Oh yeah,
Because you know you have the homeless population, and then you have the elderly population who are also homeless, and we help find them placement and places to go. That's why I was asking.
Yep,
Okay.
I've done work for them for this agency called U.S. Vets
Okay.
for over 13 years.
I've seen it like through my social workers and things like that at the hospitals and case managers. Like I've never worked with them personally, but I have seen it, and I knew that they use the service because we have a lot of veterans that just need somewhere to go, and they end up in nursing homes just out of nowhere else to be. They go to the hospital for one thing, and they don't have anywhere else to go, nobody to go to. So the caseworkers at the nursing home send them fully capable. The caseworkers at the hospital send them to nursing homes where they were supposed to go to rehab or therapy or something like that. They just drop them off at nursing homes, so we have to help find them places to go. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so now you might link me up with them outside of this too.
Right.
Because that's what I was doing just before we came over here. I got a phone call from our director of behavioral health, and somebody at familiar with behavioral hospital Bel Air. So they had a veteran that they were like, well, we're about to discharge him, and if we discharge him, we go back to the street. You know, we don't
because
have
there is a
go.
thing, they discharge the homeless all the time.
And
It's a destination.
he heard about us. He gave me a call, and I said, oh yeah, we can, no problem, get him in. But they didn't know about it. Now they know there's a way.
Right.
So he says, moving forward, we'll figure out how we can streamline
Because they always just try to do like Star Hope or something similar. They send them to the VA, and the VA just lets them go.
Oh yeah.
They
That's
drop you off
where
at
we
the
come
VA,
in.
and the VA just lets them go. I have a friend that's a case manager at the VA as well.
That's where we come in, is we fit that interim spot
Okay.
between where the VA is not able to handle them all the time. That center downtown is the case management portion. The case management does intense case management while they're on the street to make sure that we don't lose them to go back to addiction or to jail or wherever it is. So. But in all of that time outside of that, that's just a small portion. The majority of my life has been reared in my spiritual and cultural
So what are your
practices.
What can could you get like a brag reel?
I'm a formulist.
A formulist.
And I'm a New Orleans Conjure doctor.
Okay. And what is you go by Absalom?
Yes.
Okay. Your name is Absalom.
And they call me Doc for short.
Call you what?
Doc.
Doc. Okay, because you're a New Orleans
Conjure doctor.
Okay. New Orleans Conjure doctor. Doc Absalom. What do you do for Kehlani?
What do I do for Kehlani?
Yes.
I yell at her a lot. I try to keep her in line. So what do I do for Kehlani? I try to be the best leader and example for Kehlani. Kehlani is one of my goddaughters.
Leader of tribe, part of your tribe.
Well, no, just to be a good leader. So Kehlani is a mambo in voodoo. And in that, she has to go through classes of ethics and leadership. morals, structure, things like that. So my main focus and responsibility as a doctor is to teach and educate the mambos and other doctors within the tradition to ensure that they have those good values, that they're learning lessons. I teach her amongst a couple of others disciplines in medicinal practice and philosophy, theology, and as well as a doctor, we have to reflect all of those things ourselves in our lives. We can't teach them if we're not that. And so that's why I say be a good example as a leader, because she too have to lead people, and I have to be that example for her to learn from. You know?
Okay. So we're gonna jump in. Y'all ready? We just did the precursor to Sip with the Witch, where I just sit and get to know you, and it's called Before the Sip, and we are going to start recording now, and we're gonna cut so we can piece it. All right, ready?
I'm so sorry.
He got jokes now.
Huh?
I said he got jokes.
Who has jokes? I have jokes? I have a lot of jokes. All sorts of jokes.
You got jokes for days, huh?
That was till stars burn out.
I don't. I'm extremely serious all the time.
I'm ruled by the lords of the dead. I've got nothing but jokes.
Sorry.
Are we straight?
Yes, we are straight.
Okay.
Do me a favor, since you want to piece it together. Restart that. Add some.
Count me in and tell me where to look, because I don't know which camera I'm going to be talking
That's
to.
your main camera.
This one?
This is the main one. This is your
Intro. Which one am I looking into?
in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello, hello, hello all, and welcome to Sip with the Witch. Today we have a very special guest for you. His name is Absalom. Some people may call him Doc, but we're going to respectfully call him Absalom today. He not only owns one of the best magical shops in Houston. There's so many words to describe this particular space, this land, everything that it sits on from the entrance to the outside is amazing. Inside and up the stairs and through the doors, it's an entire energy center. You'll love it there. It's on Polk Street, but we'll get there later. He runs that, owns, operates, makes sure that the energy is perfect in that space. He is also a conjure doctor. He is also a mentor and a teacher to many, many people in our spiritual community. Some who are in our spiritual community and some who want to be in our spiritual community, but encourages them all to grow. He is a beautiful individual, and you can tell that by simply sitting next to the being that we call Absalom.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, as I said, I've been to the store many times. I go get a lot of things from the store. How did the space of Absalom's Midtown Mojo Marketplace manufacturing come about? Yo, I've been trying to memorize the name verbatim because I'm from Houston, so we call it Absalom's, but it's an entire name. And it's not just Absalom's on Polk Street like I like to tell people it is.
Absalom's Midtown Mojo Manufacturers at 4023 Polk Street.
There you go. So from the being himself, Absalom's Midtown Mojo Manufacturers. Anyone who knows me knows that because of my career in healthcare, I abbreviate everything. So
MMM.
yes. Yes. So I will probably never say that whole name, but I know what it is now. I know it's Absalom's on Folk Street, but again, it is the place to go if you have anything, any spiritual need that you have. Sorry. Hello, I forgot to turn my ringer off. I'm recording myself. Okay. Sorry, it's important. I was thinking. Can y'all pause the cameras? Okay, I'm listening.
In my, I was trying to get the position.
Just let it keep running. Because it'll match the audio. Ooh.
How old is he?
6.
Yeah, that's Alex's age.
Oh. She was teaching. As soon as she was at.
Like, okay,
She
I'll be
was
quiet.
teaching. Okay, let's come downstairs.
And then the 1.5-year-old, he likes to throw things down the stairs.
And just going down the stairs. It's fun.
And himself.
And himself.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Experimenting with the gravity.
Oh, well, the experiment was a very short one.
So yeah, won't do that one again. I'm good.
Yeah, so no, I definitely trust me. Kids or something else. They're a lot of fun though.
They are.
So
They are wonderful interrupters.
oh, that's because they belong to issue and yeah, and that's all they do is interrupt. Even in your most sacred of voodoo ceremonies, they have the ability to interrupt the service. A spirit will come down and possess somebody and start farting in the middle of a wedding, funeral, whatever it is, burping, saying loose jokes, don't matter. And then they want you, in order to appease the spirit, you have to actually play a drum beat called banga and feed and serve the spirit for it to go away. If not, it's over. Your whole ceremony is done.
It's like, nope, I'm here today.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna do what I want to do.
Front row center.
Wow.
You too, be blessed.
Yeah.
Can I stop by? Yes. Shakur wants to come by. He has something to drop off. Okay. I gotta stop. I'm sorry. I'm turning it off.
That's okay.
But you know my phone. It's been nobody called me until 4:30.
I've been saying that on the way up.
Nobody has bothered me or called me. I was laying around till about 1. Nobody.
I turned my phone off. I said,
I had to just now, but I knew I was waiting on that particular phone call, so I'm glad it was actually on. So where did we stop?
we just said the name.
Oh, okay.
Absalom's 423 Folk Street.
So what would you like for the focus to be? Is there any particular aspect of you that you want people to know more about?
I mean, I'm here for your questions, you know, and I mean, I guess I'm a like I said, I'm a formulist and I'm a conjure doctor, and that you asked the question. I don't know if y'all were still running.
We can just pick back up. We'll just start. Let's start running.
And you know, because you asked that big question, which was talk about how that whole name came to be.
Yes.
And that came with the beginning of life. You know, I was born into a tradition. My mother is in our tradition called a madrina, which is a godmother. Traditionally, they pray over pregnant women during their 9 months of pregnancy and stuff like that, and spiritually care for them, and then give a blessing to the baby when they're born. My grandmother, her mother is a curandera, traditional Mexican healer, and she was known from here to Nuevo León in Mexico, and they called her La Reina. the queen. And my training with her and herbs started from a very young age, and not just me, all of us, my cousins, everybody, we grew up with that. And that is how I began experimenting with things. Is you treat yourself first with the things you know,
Right.
and after curandesmo, I was introduced to the New Orleans traditions, and that's where my refinement in my practice came. I was an apprentice of a hoodoo and a witch named Big John here in Houston for decades. I've known him since I was 16, and he taught me everything I know about formulation, how to mix, how to portion, how to divide florals and scents, by all of those things. And but I spent a lot of time sweeping floors and cleaning out oil vials and things like that before I even knew a recipe.
Right.
And
As we should.
yeah, and then I refined more of that practice in New Orleans. Oh God, over the course of 10 years, learning first the religion of voodoo, who are the spirits, how do you serve them, and then a refinement of that through ethics and morals with another New Orleans conjure doctor named Louis Martinet. And that was when I became a conjure doctor. And from there, how Midtown came back to be was when I had finally gone through all of that education and stuff along the way as a young formulist to make a little extra money on the side. I'd make oils and powders for people and stuff like that. And that led to actually doing a show. We had a show called Bayou City Conjure Radio.
Okay.
And we teach people that and how to do things. And then from there, it all comes back to your ancestors. My grandmother had a practice that she had a little shop for a long time until she couldn't run it anymore. And she got to her age and she crossed over. And when she crossed over the things that I was doing already in my life, social work and stuff like that, she said it was very important that I re-examine things and that this need to happen.
Oh, they do it to you, don't they?
Oh,
right?
yeah. And like clockwork, like clockwork.
They do it to you.
She gave us a message on December 25th, and she packed her bags and took her trip on January 1st. And on January 1st, she reminded me of what she had told me, and it hit hard. Death's always hit hard. But I went back to New Orleans the next year to go see my Priestess Miriam up there. She has the New Orleans Voodoo Spiritual Temple. And I talked to her about a shop and stuff like that, and I didn't know what to do, and I'd received this message from my grandmother, and what did she think about it? She was my only mentor now, left alive, and she said, well, baby, you have to do it, and I'll help you however you need. She said, I'm going to give you the biggest advice you need to know, though. I said, what's that? I thought she was going to tell me some big, elaborate message. She says, just make sure you pay the rent. I said, okay.
It's an important thing to do. I'm just saying, there's no shop if you don't do it.
Yeah.
So those are important messages.
Oh, yeah. And so that's how we began, really, was to look at the real estate.
Right.
And the reason why we became Midtown Mojo Manufacturers is because that was the location of where it all was born, in 3rd Ward, at the crossroads of Cleburne and Chartres.
Okay.
And that's where we were born. And at 4002 Chartres, and apartment number 1, it was an apartment, and it was a 2-bedroom apartment with a living room and a little kitchen.
It's bigger than that now, y'all. It's so much bigger.
Yeah. and it was like 400 square feet. And the workshop was in the kitchen, and the shop was the counter was right outside the workshop. And the living room was the main floor to the shop, and the one bedroom was my office where I did readings, and the other bedroom was another little retail store. And we had nothing but the spirit to rely on, to tell people we were off the beaten path in this little
in an
corner,
apartment.
in an apartment with no sign. It was a little sketchy, you know, around the corner too. So
yeah, let's go see the voodoo man in the apartment up the street, around the corner, up the stairs in the dark. Yeah, let's go do that.
Yeah.
It takes some adventurous souls.
Oh yeah. And
we've all wandered into those places.
And some people,
we wouldn't be here if we hadn't.
Yeah, they would open the door and they go look real scared, like, and I go, yeah, it's a shop, and they go, oh man, I was getting ready to get shot.
Walking into somebody's house.
I said, no, it's a shop, and you took a good chance. Come on in, you know. And that's where it started, you know, is right there, and people came. And they would sit on the front porch, you know. One girl rented the apartment upstairs because we were downstairs.
Mm-hmm. At least you were downstairs.
Mm-hmm. And,
so that was a perk.
And it became a community around there. People were hanging around. And within our first year, we said, oh, we need more space. And I said, I don't know how we're going to do it. I said, anything bigger than this is going to kill us, you know. And so the spirit,
meant to be, can't be
that's
killed.
right. And the spirit will bring it. And I had a customer, she said, you looking to get into a new place? And I said, oh man, yes, but I'm locked into a 6-month lease right now. I'm locked into a year lease and I have 6 months left in it. And so she told me about this place. Well, months later, I'm driving on the East End coming from a meeting, and I get turned around, and by this time I'm looking for a new place for the shop. And I get stopped at this red light, by this red light at the crossroads again. And I'm looking, and there is this property that is, it needed a lot of work. Let's just say it like that. It needed a lot of love and attention.
And the store is right there by the crossroads.
Mm-hmm. And I said, I wonder if this is that property that my customer was telling me about. And I called her and asked her, and she said, that's the one. I said, well, give me the number. I called the owner of the property. They didn't even let me get anything but my name out of my mouth. And they said, the property's yours. I said, well, wait a minute. I need to tell you the plans that we have for it, because it's not a home. We're not trying to rent it as a home. We're trying to do all the, no, it's yours. We got to talk finances, and we got to talk all these things. Well, whatever you want to do, it's yours. Awesome. The spirit will give it to you when you're ready for it. Okay.
Yes, yes.
And from there was faith.
That's what she said.
Yeah, it was from faith, and I mean, the rest is history, as you know it. I mean, it has come to be a beacon for so many people. Mm-hmm. Midtown Mojo Manufacturers is the part that makes the product.
Right.
Absalom's is the community.
And that's the name that people know.
That's, yeah, Absalom's. Nobody needs to know Midtown Mojo Manufacturers. I mean, if you want to, that's great. You know, that's got a long history, Midtown Mojo Manufacturers. That's what makes the product, you know, and those are formulists in the back too that make those. I will make only so much product now. The business and everything has grown in the community where I have to put my attention in other places. But as a formulist, I have hand taught other formulists how to make this product, and it right. is a exceptional product. And I say product, but we talk about formulation. Here's something that I do take. You talk bragging rights in our product is that all of the formulas are unique. I have done hours and hours and hours of formulation and contemplation on just a single product. It's development. What herbs are we putting in it? What oils are we putting in it? What colors, stones, all of the alchemical process. When is it going to be made? It's not just something
what
that.
moon, what day,
Oh,
what
yeah.
time, what.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And we don't just say, oh, we're just going to throw this together and then put it on the shelf and sell it. We ethically, right? That's what we teach the Mambos. Ethically, we can't. If you're a formulist, you have to abide by the formula. Betty Crocker said, put 2 eggs in it, put 2 eggs in it. You know? And so all of our product is made in that way. There is nothing that we put for the community that is just without heart.
Okay, so what type of products are we talking about? So a lot of people watching, I guess they figured out, well, you mentioned that you were Mexican. People might not know. But, so you are Mexican. What type of products, and do they relate back to your ancestry in any way? Are they for anyone? We're going to get into deities and different things of that nature. So, give me your top 3 products that you think, not that sell the most, but that are the most impactful.
Our candles, our oils, and our bath products.
Okay. Why?
Those are the most impactful because they are used by the people the most on a broad spectrum. Mm-hmm. You know, whatever the tradition is that the person is coming from, they can utilize those things very discreetly or very openly. You know, we design those things to be used as such. You know, not everybody wants to be out in the open with those things, and if
and I've seen some things at your store that are not discreet at all, not even a little, and some things that are very, very discreet.
Mm-hmm, that's right, yeah.
Oh, all the sex candles, the penis candles. Oh my God! You walk back there and it's just like, okay, there's a whole fuck wall. It's like.
Oh yeah, and you know, but those are not discreet. Yeah,
they're not.
All our finger candles.
And the funny thing is the person I took in with me was a virgin, so it was hilarious.
Oh wow, yeah.
She was like, I was like, they're really not that big. It's okay.
That's just...
I'm sorry. I'll be back. I'm back. I'm good.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you know, those are the 3 products that people can find most impactful. And you know, our candles have such a unique design. They look pretty.
They do.
And they're beautiful.
They are, and they're not all shaped like that, y'all. That was just me being funny, but they do have some that are shaped like that, just in case you're interested.
Come by and see them. We have them in a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes.
You can write on them, put stuff in them. You can do all kinds of stuff to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's all part of the formulation too.
Right.
You know, is people learn how to do those types of things. With all the, but so let me tell you about our figure candles, or excuse me, about our glass encased candles.
Okay.
There is a science behind them, and they're very effective. That's our biggest product, and what we do with that product when we develop it is, first part, when you look at it, like I said, it's very pretty, but there's a lot put into it. The imaging, we designed the imaging ourselves. And we'll never put on our candles the word alleged. When you look at other candles that you buy from the store, they say alleged. And my grandmother taught me
never do that.
Because then maybe allegedly it might work.
Right.
You know.
So you don't even believe this yourself?
We never sell a candle.
But we all guessing at this point.
Oh yeah.
I came to you go guess. I'm gonna guess.
Yep. And we never sell a candle as for a novelty item only or cool only. No, this is the double action reversing candle, and it's gonna double action reverse that shit.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing is that we noticed that when you fix a candle, in the art of loading the candle, you put a lot inside. You put a lot of oils. You put a lot of herbs and stones and stuff like that. Within that candle, they can take a chemical effect. You're creating a chimney. Well, all chimneys get soot in it, right?
Right.
Oh, that's the cat.
Yeah, this has been the most interrupted show ever. We never
Hey, you wore the black and the purple.
We never had that. I just took off the white in the closet. I was getting dressed, had it on, just took it off. It's like, I ain't never wore this dress before because I really have never worn this dress before. I said, let's just put this on. I had on a white scarf and everything, took it off. But let's just take this off and, you know, here's a purple one. Let's throw that on there. Let's do that. Let's see what that does today.
Spirit will guide. But so that creates a furnace.
Right.
And what that can lead to at the end of burning that is a big sooty mess. And often, sometimes it can create a fire hazard. The glass can get hot. Mm-hmm. It can break. The wax can catch on fire. All of the things that you put inside of it can catch on fire. It's a very dangerous process. And a lot of times people will run to superstition with those things. Oh God, the candle came out black and soot. I got rain clouds over me now, or the candle broke in some spirit or whatever. The mind will never go to the scientific logic of it, you know. So when we make these candles, we make it one with a little bit of scientific logic in it. And the way we fix those candles is that we do put a coating of wax on the rim. Mm-hmm. And in that wax are the oils and things like that that you would load on the inside. The gris-gris are all specifically mixed and blended and selected. What's the gris-gris? Oh, the gris-gris is an old New Orleans term that comes from Africa, really. And it's all of your blends of your herbs and roots that you're mixing to either put in a mojo bag or to fix on a candle or things like that. So all those gris-gris, it's a recipe that I've developed. And they blend those and then they hand dip. Each one of those candles is hand dipped in the wax at the time and in the gris-gris at its time. And when that candle is lit and burns, what will happen is that candle will give you a cleaner burn on the inside. That means that if it does burn with soot,
then there is a reason.
We have something to look at.
Right.
You know, if the candle does break, we have something to look at.
Right. It's not a upset chemical balance.
Correct.
It is an actual spirit, there's actually something we need to pay attention to.
Oh, yes.
So.
Yep. And it's easier for the person to divinate the way the wax melts around the candle or on the image. Our paper is not plastic that we use on there. So that's why a lot of times people will see on those images where they're burnt on one side because the wick may lean too far to one side. So with our paper, it is a little bit more durable. And so you won't get those heat flames, as we call them. And so if there is something there on that image, again, something we really want to look into. Right. So on those types of products, we involve a lot of the science in it so that we can get positive spiritual results. That's really what we want to see.
Okay. So we know if we need good products and we need scientific products and we need products that are effective without the smoke and mirrors. Mm-hmm. We know a good doctor that can help you with that. So let's talk about the actual. Hello, Bandersnatch. How are you?
Hey, baby.
I think this is your first time joining the show as well.
Oh, yes. There you go. Pay the respect.
He comes to my YouTube channel and he'll visit while I'm doing readings, but this is the first time he's graced us with his presence on the show. So, welcome, Absalom. Welcome, Absalom. So, we have questions.
Yes.
So, anybody who watches the show, who watches my YouTube, who knows me, knows that I'm a great believer in oneness. And I think that people focus way too much on our differences and not enough on our similarities. So if you had to spot a similarity between a Muslim, Christian, and someone who does voodoo, like a conjure doctor, what what would some of those similarities look like?
Those similarities is that we all have struggle in our life in some area. You know, we all have faith, and we all just want to live a comfortable life.
Okay, are there any of the practices that you would say are the same?
Candle burning across the board,
Across the board.
herbs across the board,
Across the board.
you know, and the art of spiritual cleansing is across the board. With,
Aromatherapy.
oh yes,
Oils, incense, across the board.
baths, you know, the art of
Baptisms.
Oh, yeah.
Spiritual baths.
head washings, you know.
Let me
all of
sprinkle the
those.
baby with the water. The
Oh, yeah.
christenings. The let me dip you in the holy pool. The baptisms. The you need to wash that energy off of you. Did they tell you that at church you need to go wash that demon spirit off of you? I don't know if it's gonna work like that. Just getting in the shower, but we'll see. But I mean, it's the process.
Yeah, and then you know, like hoodoo.
Mhm.
That's where hoodoo has brought in a lot of things across the board, because those old school hoodoos, they saw in Christianity that power of the word,
Right.
you know, and they brought in those words from those scriptures. But then they joined with Native Americans because they didn't have all the roots that they had in Africa.
Right.
They had to find substitutes. You know, they said, well, you say what's across the board? With Native Americans had herbs, so they incorporate those herbs, that candle, that prayer, and now all of a sudden you have a very good spiritual bath with a psalm to read and an herb to take, you know, and you have a good cleansing ritual there.
So I'm from South Carolina.
Okay.
My grandfather is Native American.
Okay.
100%. My grandmother had a church who was a preacher, but she was a hoodoo preacher. That's just what my entire family is.
Okay.
So that's how we grew up, and that's what we do, and that's what we've always done.
Yeah.
And we don't, and it's to the point now to where we're not hiding
Oh yes.
what we did as much as we used to, because we hid a lot of it in church. My grandmother taught me how to hide it in church. So now I can spot other people hiding in church.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's one of those things to where if I could just get you to understand what you're doing, I can help you get out of your own way. And that's what we're trying to do. We want to show people the similarities so they can get out of their own way. Some people are stuck in so many things. He loves you. So many people are stuck in so many things because they stand in their own way because of traditions that they don't understand and rules that are not meant for them. So I think Vishen Lakiani calls them rules, those bullshit rules. And we want to help dispel some of those. If there was advice that you could give someone, let's say you were talking to a Muslim man and he was going through something spiritual and he understood that the path that he's currently on no longer suits him, and he's trying to step out of that and step more into his rich culture. Let's say he's Native American and Muslim. What would you tell him? What would you advise him?
Well, when any time anybody comes to a crossroads in their life, I would advise them to sit at the crossroads first for a while and go for a meditative journey.
Okay.
And see what direction it is that they really need to go to. Talk to both ancestors, call them in, and see, are you being deficient in honoring one? And do you have an excess in serving the other? Because remember, I'm a doctor.
Right.
I look for excess and I look for deficiencies, right? If you are being deficient in serving your Native American ancestry, then you need to bring balance to that so that you could bring balance to your life. Maybe that's why you don't feel a balance there. You know, I tell you that happens to a lot of people in the United States because we all come from so many mixes right now. There's a lot of Black Americans that do not even know about their Native ancestry, you know, and so many of them running around with that ancestry, you know. And but I tell you something about the ancestors, they will put it in your path if it's for you. That's why a lot of them. That's one of the reasons why we established Absalons. Really, was so that there could be a place where people who who have been told for so long, oh no, you must only follow this way,
Right.
you know, and there's no other way. Okay, but you feel something's telling you inside that you cannot have blinders.
Right. And most people feel that, and they just.
And mostly it's your ancestors. Your ancestors want to be venerated, and you're not venerating all of them will create imbalance in your life. You know, so they come, and education is a big thing. You know, acknowledgement is a big thing. If a Black American come and they say, "But why have I been burning sage? Why am I drawn to burning sage?" Well, baby, it's easy. You got Native ancestry in you. And your ancestors are asking you to burn sage instead of frankincense. Your African ancestors want you to burn frankincense. Your Native ancestors want you to burn white sage. So now you need to mix a little bit of white sage with a little bit of frankincense and burn them together. And you appeasing both your ancestors. And you're going to find balance in your life. You'll be able to see clear, know your purpose more, you know? Yeah.
So finding that balance is the key to finding your purpose, because a lot of people come, a lot of people watch the show, and they're looking for balance. Sometimes they're looking to criticize because things they don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay, because while they're doing that, they're also finding something they needed that they didn't know they needed.
Correct.
So so you said, okay, so we listed oils, aromatherapy, candles, spiritual baths. What about the beliefs? What about the deities, the God, the orishas, the everything? Do you see any similarities there?
In the end, we all believe in one creator.
Yes. And that is what I refer to as the all. But some people refer to it as God, and some people refer to it as Allah. And being someone who has been Muslim, who has been Christian, who has been all these things, because when I learned about religions, I don't just read books.
Mm-hmm.
I would deep dive into them and indulge in them for years. Mm-hmm. If I'm being Muslim, I'm being good one. We're going to be hijabi every day.
Oh.
And I was like that for a very long time. But it's the knowing that there is one true God. And knowing that even though you go to a Christian church and they believe in the Trinity, they still believe in one true God.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that in Yoruba culture we have so many orishas, but there is
only one God.
So, same thing, Native American culture.
Mm-hmm.
Many, some people call them demigods or whatever the case may be, one true God has been the theme of everything. Even when I've been to the Buddhist temples, I went to China and I studied there, and I studied at the Tao temples, and one, they don't call it God, but one, there's one creator, one everything.
You know, if people would receive education more, they would learn a lot more. A lot of people get trapped into basic dogma. What I mean by basic dogma is you went to church today, you went to temple today, you went to mosque today, and that basic man told you a basic rule, and now you are following a basic lifestyle. That's for children. That's why the children go to Sunday school, so they can learn a basic foundation in their way of believing. Man has been given such an intelligible mind, all man creation, that you have been given that to receive education. You went to go study with Buddhists, you have been Muslim, you have educated. And that's all that sometimes people need to remove from themselves is the fear of what will that education teach them.
Right.
In the end, you will learn that everybody got one creator. Whatever the name is, it's over thousands of languages in the
Thousands
world.
of languages. So I'll never forget the first time I met, I had to be like maybe 10. The first time I was in South Carolina, the first time I met a Mexican guy, his name was Jesus. Because that's what his name badge said. I didn't know that his name was Jesus.
That's right.
But I called him Jesus for the whole trip.
And that was his name in English.
He didn't correct me.
Yeah.
My friends thought it was funny. And honestly, at the time, I was very, very into church. And I was like, who in the world named that child Jesus? They must really be saved around here. They must really saved. This boy's going to heaven. I got to be his friend because I'm a child.
Yeah.
And another child named Jesus. So, naturally,
Yeah.
I got to get close to Jesus. Jesus got to be cool. And later on, by the time I was a little older, I was like, oh, that's how you say it. And nobody told me. Y'all knew. They were older than some of the people on the bus were older than me.
Oh, okay.
So they knew.
They just
thought it was funny. They just let me do it. But it's a name.
It is.
It's a name. And there's a lot in a name, but there shouldn't be division.
No. That again is something that if people would educate, they would know that the division is caused by insecurities.
Right.
They say, look why people would tell you. Sometimes people have turned it into a membership. Oh, let's look just in Christianity in itself. There's so many factions of Christianity, and they all sometimes will quarrel amongst themselves, saying, "Oh, they don't got the right ticket. We got the right ticket, so come over here." But in the end, they don't care about you. They care about your money. That's why they don't want you to leave. That's why they want more members. They want your 10%. They don't care about educating you, and that's very important. My last name is Yetzira, and I come. And Yetzira is an old family name. So my grandfather is Sephardic, and they're Kabbalistic.
Okay.
That means they're Spanish Jews. And even there, they have 3 different names for God. They have Sof, Ein, and Ein Sof. Meaning Sof, Ein, and Ein Sof. And Ein Sof would be what laymen would call God. The Jews believe that before that is Ein and then Sof.
Okay.
And really, one is the divine masculine and one is the divine feminine. Okay. Right?
So you put them together and you get Ein Sof, so we are one. Got it.
And that's the union. That's creation. Because what happens when you put the divine feminine and the divine masculine together?
You create a brand new universe.
That's right. And that's what Ein Sof is in that. So that's why I often tell Christians, don't get lost in just that word. God is a verb. It's not a name.
God is a verb. We're going to put that on a t-shirt, and we're going to put Absalom.
That's
in
right.
parentheses, and it's going to say God is a verb.
Yeah.
You can quote that one, y'all.
In Christian, Judaism, and Muslim, when asked the divine name, they said simply, no other name than this. I am what I am. And when you look at that, that can open up a world of questions.
They could actually open up a very simple answer. But
and you know what? That's true.
Answer.
I sat with a rabbi in Los Angeles several years ago in regards to the study of the name of God, what the Jews call Hashem, Ha meaning the, Shem meaning name. And the name, which there are 72 in Judaism, the first name, I am, was very basic. Moses asked a simple question, and God gave a simple answer. And within that simple answer was, I am that I am, no more, no less. Do not put expectation on me of man's standards. And that's where we get lost a lot. Right. Man put their own expectations on this God. Divine being.
Yes, because we overcomplicate things. Mm-hmm. We tend to overcomplicate things so often. It's just, we overcomplicate the sun. It's the sun. Like, what would you do if it wasn't there? What do you need? It's gonna. And
it is complicated.
It's complicated.
But it's simple.
Yeah,
we need solar rays for life. Too much solar rays will kill life. Too little solar rays will kill life.
And it balances itself. You don't even have to do much. Right. Listen to your body.
Now,
if you get too hot and your body say go inside, you ain't had enough. Go inside. If it starts to burn, you've probably been out there too long. You need to go inside.
That's right.
If you get too pale and you cold, you know what? You might need to go outside. And that just happens naturally. Mm-hmm. We overcomplicate.
Yep. And that's why I say it's simple. And it can be complicated because you want to get complicated, go learn about the sun then. Learn about its gases,
right.
And forms,
they have
and all those things.
How many days they expect it to burn.
Yep.
Like how you come up with that number? Don't tell me. I like it simple. I won't be here. I don't think nobody else will either by that point if it happens. Or you know what? The all could just decide to keep the party going. We don't really know.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
So we worry about the wrong things.
We do, and the other thing that we all have in common outside of one creator is we all live on the same earth.
Right.
We all live on the same earth. People say, Doc, do you believe the earth is round? Do you believe the earth is flat? Do you believe the earth is hollow? I say, I don't care what shape it's in. I just care about its condition.
Absolutely.
Is it polluted? Is it, those are the questions I want to know about.
Is it on fire?
Is it on fire? Are we destroying it? Are we taking care of it? Whether it's flat, round, or hollow.
Triangular, orb-like.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And
as long as I don't fall off of it, ain't nobody else falling off of it. It doesn't really matter. I just need it to be taken care of for the next generations and for this one.
And that's what Creator across the board asks us is please take care of the Garden of Eden that I have made for you. It's just so adorable. It's a boy?
Yes, he's a boy.
I have a Maria at the shop, right?
It's very attention-seeking.
I have a female at the shop. Marie has been with us for 13 years.
Oh.
She's our black cat there.
This is my baby. That's my husband. That's my husband. Okay, so oneness. Tell us about some of the deities and spirits that you work with, if that's what you do.
So in the rites of Conjure, I do work with several spirits. I work with things in levels, though. Personally, I work with my own ancestors, call on them. I tell everybody they should first only work with their ancestors.
Absolutely. That's where you start.
And but I have been taught how to work with many spirits. I do work with the spirits of voodoo, which we call the Loa. I do work with spirits of Ifa, which we call Orisha. And I do work with spirits of Santeria, which we call the saints. I also work with the spirits, animal spirits of my native ancestry as well. So those are the three main ones that I will work with.
Okay. Why is it important? Because I've had so many clients and I've met so many people that don't start with their ancestors. They read a book, they did something they were supposed to do. What do you tell people who just want to jump right in to, you know what? I don't know my ancestors, but I'm gonna work with some Ifa.
Okay.
I'm gonna give me one of them Ifa spirits, and I'm gonna have them, you know, gonna do something for me. I'm just gonna call me Legba.
Okay, well let me know how it works out for you.
Wait for y'all. When you get done over there, you keep that same energy over there when you started with it. Don't bring that over here, because I told you.
You know, I gotta tell people the advice that my priestess told me, because you know what, we're all excited when we're babies. We don't know, we want to touch, we want to grab. You know, pot is hot. Don't touch the stove. But we don't know, we want to go for that boiling pot, right? My priestess told me when I asked her a question about how to work with a particular spirit, she said, she says this to this day, now just be cool and sit down.
I had one of my clients tell me, what she told me, she said, I'm having digestive issues, I lost my job, I fractured my hip, I did all these things. What'd you do? Well, I started working with oil. Who told you to do that? Who asked you?
Which one?
Right. What'd you do? Tell me what you did.
Yeah.
Don't come to my house. You tell me what you did.
Yeah.
You're not welcome here today.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you on the phone, and we're going to figure out exactly what you did.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who you called. You don't know what you did. You don't know what door you opened. And you have no idea how to close it. And she was going through it. And it took us so long, to figure out what she did. What she did. And how to fix it is still in progress. But
You are so loving. Wants the attention.
He does. And I guarantee you that he has not been on set while recording, except for with you at this point.
You know, so like I say, for people, I give them the recommendation because they do. Oh God, they come in all the time to the shop. They want to work with this Orisha or that Loa. They want this head reading, or they want this, or they know they're a child of this or a child of that, and whatever. You know, I will always give them that advice. Be cool. Sit down for a minute. And have anybody taught you, that's what I asked them, have anybody taught you how to venerate your ancestors? They're going to either say yes or no.
9 times out of 10, they say no. 8 times, I get an 8.
And if they say no, I always try to lean towards, okay, let's start. But sometimes people can be so resistant. Yeah, but I don't want to know that now.
They want a quick fix.
Mm-hmm.
They want a Tylenol for life.
Mm-hmm.
And they think, oh, well, I was a Christian and I prayed and this didn't work that didn't work right now. So let me go cast the spell real quick.
And it don't work like that either on this side.
It doesn't. And they don't understand that. Like, it's work.
And people would tell me, oh, I want this grandiose thing, so which candle am I going to buy to make that happen?
Tell them the big one.
I say,
what you need in your store for those times, I'm going to make me one just to have it at my store. And it's going to be a 6-foot candle that's going to burn for 3 years.
Oh, gosh. You need that one.
You need that one. By the time it's burned out, we should be good.
Oh, man.
As long as while it's burning, you follow all these instructions I wrote on the side.
Oh. And they'll come back after that candle.
When you get to the bottom, it's been 2.5 years, and you've done all these other things.
They'll come back to buy the next big one.
Well, this big one burning slow. Let me get another one.
Well, we'll have a 2-for-1 sale, too.
Yes. Just get you some big candles and keep them in the corner. You need a truck. Come pick this up.
Oh, no. We can make that candle, though.
Look.
I don't know, but you give me a week, I'll put that candle together. Like a trash can, a wick, and I'll pour that wax in there. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm a formulist.
Need a ton of beeswax.
It's going to take me a minute to figure out the ratio of the wick to trash can, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Figure it out. And we ain't gonna even burn your house down.
No, just and then when you're done with the trash can, just throw it, put it out.
Put it outside.
Put it outside.
Don't sit it on the railroad tracks. You're gonna cause a problem.
No. No. I'm thinking of a story now.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, we had to set a pot on the railroad tracks
Mm-hmm.
and put it on fire, and then somebody saw they built new condos, and we had been going to this train track for years. And somebody saw this pot on fire on the train track and called the fire department.
What they thought we was gonna do? Blow up the train?
I don't know, but we did it in such a location to where you really couldn't get to it because it's on the top of a bridge.
Yeah.
So the fire department couldn't even get to it. The train came and of course put it out, put it over. That's part of the spell though.
Right.
You know, the train's supposed to come and put out the fire, and you know.
People are funny.
They are.
They're funny. They thought they was doing a community service. You had a Karen.
Yeah, probably.
You had a Karen.
But people.
They had a little pot. They got a smoking pot on the train.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna damage the train.
Yeah.
We are not gonna damage the train, man.
But you know what? I tell
This have
people
to be a really big pot.
to just take my advice,
Mm-hmm.
and if they don't, and they find themselves in some trouble, just call me.
And y'all know me, and everybody who knows me knows I'm very, very honest, and that irritates my soul. But I do it anyway. Don't like it. I get mad. I be so irritated. I don't really get mad, but I do be irritated because I'll get a call and we'll spend an hour on the phone and I'll talk you through everything and we'll fix it, and then I'll get a call like 6 months later. Well, you know that thing you told me not to do, I did that exact thing, and you was right. I had a client that did this. I told her not to let this go. This isn't for you. It's not good. This is what's gonna happen. He's gonna use you. He's gonna mistreat you. He's gonna put you in a bad financial situation. Yada 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 yada. Got a call 6 months later. Well, he's in jail, but he took my card and they ruined my credit and they spent my college tuition and it did
But
this.
I told you.
But I told you. What do you want? So now we gotta go through the legal process now because he's already done it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't call me when you realized it was missing. He's already in jail. She's like, yeah, I just wanted to let you know that you was right. Now I need this, that, and the third. Okay. Well, yeah, you do.
Now it's going to cost you.
Yeah, now it's going to cost you.
Because I told you for free to chill.
I was trying to be nice. I was being extremely nice. I told you exactly what not to do. We had a whole conversation. Now it's going to cost you. And not to be mean, but not to waste. It's a craft. It's a job. You're a doctor just like another doctor is a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
She's a priestess just like another priest is a priest. It's the same thing. So we should get the same respect that those people do. Because they come to the Conjure doctor to be healed. Just like you go to the medical doctor to be healed. So it shouldn't be the sense of, well, you're a spiritual doctor, so everything that you do is free.
Mm-hmm.
They pay the priest at church.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say priestess because they're not allowed to do that, but they're not allowed to have female priests, but they pay the priest at church.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not give an offering to your high priest? Like, just to be...
You know, I'm going to tell you, and I'm very honest with everybody that comes through. I'm going to say just like this, because people have asked me several times about free work, or I'm supposed to give this, or I'm supposed to do this. And I'll be real honest with people. I'm not supposed to give nothing. It's not my fault why you in the situation that you in.
Mm-hmm.
The first lesson they need to learn from the doctor is take accountability for what you did.
Right.
That's it. Other than that, I didn't put you there. And it's not my responsibility to get you out of there. I'm a very busy person. As we spoke earlier, you see the things I'm involved with. So what makes you think I should stop everything that I'm doing because your ex-boyfriend is talking to this girl and you want her out the picture and him back, and you want to buy a $2 chime candle to make that happen? No.
No, I need you to just give me the candle, and I want you to throw some sage on top of it. And when I light it, she's supposed to disappear like a negative spirit.
Yeah, no. Let's talk about why is he your ex?
No, they don't want to talk about that.
Let's talk about that part.
They don't want to do that.
You know,
Mm-mm. They just want you to sage her away.
no, you know, and when people say
Can
they
you
don't want to,
smudge his side piece, please?
yeah, no. Mm-mm.
That's what they call my bouquet lining where they shoot. Can you go smudge the side piece, Mambo? I can't let it go away. You said to get rid of bad spirits, and she a bad spirit, and I need she got a horrible spirit. Can you go blow some smoke at her?
Yeah, you know what? But people do that to the physician on all levels.
They do.
You know, they will go to my colleague and say, "Oh, my head hurts." Okay, well, let's find out why your head hurts. No, just give me some Advil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but let's find out why your head hurts. No, I just need it gone right now.
Right.
Okay, next thing you know, the head hurt, and they don't put so much Advil in their system, their kidney is failing now.
Right.
You know, and then it wasn't a headache at all. It was a tumor.
Right.
But they wanted the quick fix. You know, and even at that, they're like, "Oh, we'll take the tumor out now." You know, when we do that with spiritual afflictions, even with the Mambo Kalani, they think they're just going to come and you're just going to be healed out.
Right then,
right
right now.
there.
I only need to see you once. Give you $20 and I'm going my way.
In what world?
It's just, and it's disrespectful. The thought of it is disrespectful.
And
like
that's,
they would never go to. Well, I take that back. People go to the hospital all the time and they go to the doctor all the time and want a service for free. I just need you to give me the CT scan real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just check me out?
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
And you're right, there is no respect for the practice.
Right.
You know, that's really what it is. It's a practice. You know. So everybody's a little different, I guess. You know. So if I tell them truth, and they accept it, then I accept you. That means I'm willing to work with you as a patient to take care of this spiritual issue or something like that. But hey, at the same time, if you give me resistance, I have the ability to say, to say, I'm sorry, I cannot work with you. Mm-hmm. But
doctors fire patients all the time.
And you know what?
Non-compliance.
That's right.
You're non-compliant.
That's right.
I can't work with you because you're non-compliant, and at this point, you're putting me and my reputation at risk.
And so you discharge.
I'm discharging you as a patient.
And there's an ethical way of doing that.
Let me just open and close right here. Okay.
And there's an ethical way to discharge people, you know, and that's what I teach people. I teach all the mambos and stuff. How do we ethically discharge that client who is being non-compliant,
right,
who is being disrespectful? You know, there are ways to do it appropriately.
I've even referred people out because we don't work well together. Let me find you someone else.
And you know what? I add on to that professionally by talking to the person that I refer
Absolutely.
to. I'm gonna give you a heads up.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna ask you, do you want this particular client?
Mm-hmm.
Because you might not, but because you know people and you know other doctors and you know people in the community and you're able to say, okay, I know the type of spirit that this person has.
Right.
They'll tolerate you more.
Mm-hmm.
They have a kinder or they have a tougher whatever demeanor that you need. Because you might need tough love and I don't have time for that. You might need a softer person and that's
Correct.
not really me. And so you find that person if you need to and you'll let them know, hey, I have this person that might need you to take over from here. And just send them away if they will. If they'll go.
Mm-hmm.
Most times they give you that kind of resistance, they don't anyway. But if there was one message you wanted to leave people with as far as oneness about what you do, about how to appreciate more of what you do, what would that be? And I know that was a lot for one thing, but you have the space and opportunity to do so. what would be the thing you need them to know about what you do, how not to fear what you do, how not to fear you, and how to understand the difference?
Would recommend to all people that when they come to me, come in honesty, and to come with an open mind and understanding, and to receive the message that is given to them. I'm a physician, and when people come to me, they're going to come to me with questions. So all I ask is for them to understand that when I answer them, I answer as a physician, giving them the best possible solution to relieve their discomfort in their life. Sometimes the thing that will relieve their discomfort is not always the answer they want. So you're not going to come I'm not an HMO doctor. You're not going to tell me what's wrong with you.
Right.
And that's for a prescription.
Right. You didn't come here for vitamin, man.
No.
That's not what you came here for.
You came to me to find out what is actually afflicting you. And that's what I ask all people when they come to me to understand. I'm a physician, and I want to know how I can help you in your spiritual life.
So if there are, there's conjure doctors, I won't say there's a lot, but they're sprinkled throughout. So if you're in another city, you should be able to find somebody near you, or you might just have to travel to go see someone who is a legitimate conjure doctor. Are there any things they should be aware of? Is there anything to fear?
I would definitely, if you find another conjure doctor, would ask that you find out everything you can about that doctor. Who taught you? How long have you been practicing? You know, selecting your conjure doctor is just as vital and detailed as selecting your Western physician. You know, this is a person that is going to be involved in your spiritual life. What degree do you want that person? If they're even somebody, did they just pull the title out of the air and throw it on because they read some books and saw some YouTube videos? Or does this individual have a line of masters that they learn from, mentors that they learn from, creditable people? I mean, we go to the doctor, I want to know what medical school you went to, right? Did you pass the board? You know, like, what's going on here? The same thing for everybody. Test your doctors. If they get, they don't want to tell you how long they've been studying or who their masters are or anything like that. That's the first time for me to next. A doctor should be proud in telling, their learning and their experience, how they have come to be that particular physician. And I'll say this too, because of the modern day and age that we live in, you can contact a physician on the internet. Yes. A lot of the stuff that we would recommend anyway is for you to do at home. Yeah. A lot of self-care.
So if people wanted to reach you on the internet, how would they do that? They
can find me real easy, Absalom Yetzira on Facebook. I'm the only one there. And they can message the shop, They message the shop, they can get not just me, but they can get access to Mambo Kalani, Mambo Yeye, and a couple of the other spiritual healers that we have there, because like you said, everybody might be different enough. It might be something I can't do, Somebody might need a physical healing touch, we have a traditional healer for that. I don't physically touch the body at all. But those aches and pains that are in the body can be spiritual, so they go for assessment for that, or they're dealing with some sort of trauma or thing like that. I will refer them to Kalani. I don't really work with trauma. It's not that I can't. That's not my area of
that's not your
focus.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Well, again, I am so glad you came to have a sip with the Witch Absalom. You'll be more than welcome to come back. Maybe one day we can take a road trip and I can take y'all on a tour of the store.
Oh, you will love it. You will
Yes,
love it.
they definitely love it. I think I've taken my YouTube family before,
Okay.
but we might have to just make a special trip and maybe just talk to you and some of the staff and maybe Mambo Kailani and Mambo Yeye in their element at the store just to like get a glimpse of what Absalom's
Midtown Mojo manufacturers.
Midtown Mojo manufacturers looks like. It is all about. Again, when I can't say something properly or correctly, I will definitely pass it off to the man who can.
Yes.
Yes. So again, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Shakur. What you got?